hey, is innovation something that's this landslide movement, or is this amalgamation of change that then births something new, right? Hi, I'm Russ.
And I'm Danny.
And this is the Memory Makers Podcast.
The show that helps you make amazing customer experiences and make more memories.
Memory Makers Podcast. So, we're at IAAPA, and on the drive-in, Danny educates me on the way of music, and this Pink remix of Benny and the Jets is just rocking my socks. So that's the jingle today.
That is the jingle for today. So that's the jingle. The topic for today is product innovation. And we were just talking about this morning, that the word innovation, man, people throw that word around a lot. And we've been guilty. We hosted something recently called the Innovation Showcase that we do every year. And what we found is that people will tend to release a new feature of a product or change a product in some way, or even launch a new product. And every time they do any of those things, it's innovation. It's innovation. And so, being here at IAAPA Expo as well, we can see a lot of people using that term. But really, we wanted to break this down and to say, well, let's throw the word innovation out the window for the side. And let's focus on what are the evolutions and adjustments and changes that help solve problems for you as operators to be able to either make something more efficient, something more fun, more immersive, story-driven, social, any of those pieces.
Even more relevant to a new audience. I mean, all of that, right? And it's... we always want to be careful that we're intentional with our words, and there are aspects that are innovation, but there's sometimes where you look at it where, okay, is innovation something that's this landslide movement, or is this amalgamation of change that then births something new, right? And so when we look at, one of the new products that's here at the show that we've now added into our portfolio, like Pinball XP, right? I grew up, my dad had a pinball machine. It was an old Flash Gordon. I loved playing it. Like, pinball's such a cool experience, but then it really didn't have a lot of relevancy for me as I was graduating into, Sega Game Gears and Game Boys and the video game consoles. And what I've been blown away with this piece, and especially like making it relevant to new audiences, is for me, the Pinball XP approach now is enabling pinball to be redemption based and have a much more value proposition to the customers that want to play it than maybe otherwise wouldn't, because hey, if I'm a younger kid, I want to be able to get points and I want to get, at the redemption counter, do those kinds of things. And so I was at dinner last night with Full Tilt, and they were talking about, our diehards play the 20 pinball machines that we have, and the kids tend to walk right by it unless they have a parent or something that's doing that. And so this Jersey Jacks and Diverted River and Creative Works collaboration has been really eye-opening for me, because now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is something that kids will want to play because they can actually get a decent chunk of points and a good payout, and it's going to open up a whole new world to them to be able to have an experience that they haven't had before. And that, to me, was something that checks that, it definitely has innovation in it, because the tech on the back end is doing things that nobody else is doing, which is super groovy, and I love it. But it's more critical of innovation for innovation's sake, or is it actually facilitating positive change for new people or existing customers? And that, to me, really did it well.
And it is like the question of, is this technology for technology's sake, or is it helping to make something better or improve it? And one of the things and one of the problems that the Pinball XP solves is that forever, since the dawn of pinball, if someone is playing and you want to watch, you got to peek over their shoulder and get up in their personal space, and it's really uncomfortable. But now, with the way that they've set this up, there are top-down cameras above every single one of the pinball machines, and it's direct live feed to TVs that are above the system. So I can step back a few feet, I can look up at the TVs and see exactly what's happening on the pinball game. And it's making that interaction a lot easier to be able to, whether you're with friends or family members, or you're on an outing with coworkers, whatever it is, you can step back and see what's the action that's happening on the game.
Well, and it really helps turn it into a little bit more of a spectacle, and really drives more of that social competition that naturally would come out of a lot of good products. But being able now to have this big presence in your space, and other folks are like, yeah, we have pinball, but it's there just for a couple of people that we like it. It's like, holy cow, you can really change the game with it. And so that, to me, was something that I've been really excited to see about as well. So But yeah, that was the first one that came to mind for me.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about is Lucky Putt. Now, Lucky Putt's an attraction that we've had for several years now, and it's right behind us here in the booth. And it's, for those who are unaware, it's basically gamifying the idea of mini golf, whereas instead of strokes of 2 strokes or 3 strokes, we're now going for points. I want 2 or 3 or 5,000 points. It's got automated scoring system that tracks you from hole to hole. Lots of really cool features, and over time it's continued to evolve. Now, one of the things that we've discovered over time, and the problem that we wanted to help solve, is Lucky Putt, by nature, the challenges themselves are quite large because we want them to be statement pieces. We want them to be eye-catching. But what ends up happening is sometimes we have clients who want to be able to fit more holes in the space that they've given for a Lucky Putt course, but they just don't have this, they're not able to fit as many as they want to. So we released something called Lucky Putt Bar Games. And so what these do is there's 2 main pieces that come with Lucky Putt Bar Games. And the first is that it takes the overall footprint of a hole and shrinks it down quite a bit, so that if you're looking at a space and you want to be able to fit 9 or 10 holes, but with our older challenges, you could only do maybe 6 or 7. This now allows you to fit more challenges, holes, whatever you want to call them, in that space. So it allows you to maximize your own square footage. And then the other part of this that's really exciting, it incorporates all the same technology, except the game mechanics are entirely different from any type of mini golf that you know. You don't actually use the putter to play.
That's the game changer for me, was that now it allows diversified style of play in a mini golf type of a course, right? And so you're doing things that have some shuffleboard inspiration, you're doing some things that have those kind of carnival game elements and things, and by being able to spread that through, it again helps reimagine in the customer's mind, like, oh, I've never done something like this, because it's just a more sophisticated level of play. It's more diversified, it's varied. And so not only is it solving a square footage or a budget, constraint that may come with a certain product, but it was also something where, hey, we were really pleased with the innovations or the technology and the novelty that we put together in the first iteration of Lucky Putt. But now it's, okay, how do we push and find new ways for people to play and explore while doing that Lucky Putt experience? And I've just really, the mad scientists have knocked those out of the park in my mind, because again, it's simple, it's intuitive, but a little familiar, but you have all of that working together, so you don't have psychological barriers, you don't have people hesitant about jumping in and having that fun. But it's going to be, oh my gosh, I've never done anything like that before, but it's still a good at its core experience no matter what.
And I was just talking to an attendee here yesterday who came by the booth, and he had seen Lucky Putt before, but this was his first time seeing the bar games. And he told me, he goes, the moment I saw the shuffleboard inspired one, that immediately caught my eye, because me and my friends have played that so much growing up throughout our life, and it's cool to be able to bring that style of experience to a new attraction like mini golf and merge those 2 worlds together.
Yeah, and the last thing, and obviously laser tag is one of our bread and butter pieces, but seeing the response that we've had with new experiments and tactics and ways with, whether it's through printed elements that we can do on certain things, or the thinner walls that we've been using, readjusting how those are engineered at their core, reimagining what that is, so that way we can be more efficient, we can build more diverse clusters and layouts and all of that stuff, while not inherently like knock your socks off piece. It's one of those that it was an innovation that solved problems for us to be able to keep more efficient use of materials and costs down for customers, but create new ways of play. And so like the LED lit maze clusters that we now have, where those can interact with the targets and you can have more call and response. We've been really working, I think, over the last 4 to 5 years especially, of trying to come up with ways to play against the environment itself in ways that you haven't been able to do it before. And so whether it's things where now you're causing effects throughout the maze components themselves, or you have the interactive reveal props where you're taking on these bosses and then you're having the hidden Easter egg kind of elements and things, it's just, while they've been executed elsewhere in things like video games or escape rooms and other pieces, taking some of those really good elements and nuggets of like what makes this something that we emotionally connect to, and how do we find an appropriate way, if we can manage it, to put it into something else. And that for us, I think, is what I at least get the most out of IAAPA, is that I'll see stuff that has nothing to do with things that we're doing, but now I'm like, oh, how can we take what I really like about this, and does it have a path forward for us to be able to, tinker and experiment and come up with something even new? And that innovation breeding innovation, or, collective, people benefiting, that rising tide raises all boats. That's the other part too, is, there are a lot of competitive advantages that you can get by being an innovator, but there's also a lot that you can be gained from studying the competition and having those worthy adversaries like Simon Sinek talks about in The Infinite Game.
Yeah, and one of the things as you were going through and describing that really jumped to mind is the idea of creativity. And so I like to think of this as there's collecting dots and there's connecting dots.
Okay.
And so at a show like this or any other place, we're constantly collecting dots and looking at ideas of things that have nothing to do with laser tag or nothing to do with mini golf or even nothing to do with amusement industry in general, and just collecting this information going, that's really interesting how they did this. And then the creativity part is being able to connect some of these dots together in new and unique ways that haven't been done before.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the processes that we do, whether it's at a show like this or any of us going on a vacation somewhere and our spouses being like, you're doing research right now for creative work stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, look at this thing over here.
Yes.
But we're constantly finding ways of how can we take two disparate things and put them together in a new and unique way that makes something more immersive, social, story-driven, or fun.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a great place for us to wrap up. If you guys have had a chance to be out at the show, hopefully we've had a chance to say hello to you. This is obviously coming out after the show, but yeah, I have been thrilled. I'm on day 6 as of this recording, as far as being here for setup and everything, and so it's been a wild ride so far. But man, there's still so much more to see, and I'm excited for it. So with that, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you so much. If you have any ideas for future topics, please hit us up on social media. We'll be happy to do that. Please rate and review. Leave those 5 stars, please and thank you. And we'll catch you on the next one, Troublemakers.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I need more coffee is what I need. All right.
Hi, I'm Russ.
Oh, I was settling.
Cracking of the.
I was settling in.
Hi, I'm Russ.
Hey guys.
I'm gonna have to keep it in my low DJ voice. Nice.
I think we nailed it.
I like it.
By the way, this episode's coming out today. It's fine. On today.
You're a wizard, okay?
You're a wizard, Harry. Trade show, or if you're at home, and we'll see you there, Troublemakers. As soon as I got to the end, I was like, I don't know how to land this plane. We'll see you there.
See you there.
And
Lock it in.
log it in.
All right.